Mm-hmm. So to me, part of seeking the truth, which means the accurate facts about reality, like being firmly in reality and having um, like wisdom that can be generated from that. Part of this whole process means asking the right questions within the ideas and the concepts. So to me, this concept or theory of reincarnation, you would have to ask the right questions. And that's what I want people to start doing when they face this idea. It's a fascinating idea. It's a very attractive idea. But I also want to say that there are religions formed against reincarnation, and they haven't really asked the right questions in the first place. And that's why they don't have a grasp of it. They've just kind of asked the wrong questions, and therefore, with the wrong questions, you will give the wrong answers towards the subject. Am I right?
That's a correct statement.
So you really have to start off on the right foot, have the right questions. Let me give you an example, because I believe that the reason why we live life, and it has to be a very difficult process, is because we need to learn from the negative. Negative is not always what we're supposed to stay with, but we learn from the negative because the positive doesn't teach very well. In other words, we need to learn the opposite of whatever things we're learning. So having said that, what would be the negative questions, the wrong questions about reincarnation? Sort of like when they look at life and they say people die, and then people are disposed of, their bodies. It's a disposal, or what you do with respect. It's a ritual. They bury them, or some of the tribes leave them up in the air, like on a scaffolding type thing that they build, and they're picked apart by the elements and literally by the beaks of vultures and buzzards. Or there's the other process of which they do in some cultures, and a lot more actually in the secular. It's very popular to burn the body. What is that called? The burning of the remains. Where you turn it to ash, basically the dust that we came from, whatever remains after that hot burning. And I've seen this before, because people have those and they put it like in an urn, or they put it in a container and they put it on the mantelpiece or some other place in the house, in the family's house. In any case, you people are very smart and you're thinking about what it's called, but let's just go to the negative thinking, where it's based on the wrong questions about reincarnation. In a religion such as, say, the Jehovah's Witnesses religion, what do they say about the life that we have right now? What's going to happen at the end of it?
Well, basically, we're going to be asleep in death till the Great Tribulation, and then you'll awaken from this sleep. And disease and all kinds of sicknesses will be no more. The pain of life that you experienced will be over with.
So they're talking about when you come back. Damn, that engine is loud. Sorry about that, folks, but we do not have a microphone. We've got very basic equipment here. Their theory or their interpretation of Scripture is as a collective idea. Um, what eventually will happen. You know, it's collective. We'll all rise up, right at the final time. Is that what it says? Rise up at the final time.
Yeah, we'll rise up, and sickness, disease, and death will be no more.
Hmm.
You'll see all your loved ones that have passed away, and
Everybody comes back together at the same time,
yeah.
and not everybody. Some people are not able to. But here's what I want to say about this. The Jehovah's Witnesses have their theory or their belief, and it sounds a lot like reincarnation, but they're not calling it reincarnation. Is this called resurrection?
Yeah, it's the resurrection of. It's when Jesus comes back.
So it's kind of like being raised from the dead, and whether or not they use that terminology, reincarnation or resurrection, it is about being raised from the dead. So, you know, sleep and death. Then when the time comes, which is in the future, it hasn't happened yet. We're at 2016. It hasn't happened yet. So they wake up all together if they deserve it, and that's because Jesus picked them, and that's everybody is reincarnated all at once, kind of thing.
Yeah, they come back, and they're given us. Some people will be given a second chance to become a Jehovah's Witness.
At that point, they'll have a second chance to become a Jehovah's Witness. So in this belief system, the only people that are going to
144,000 are going to heaven. The
okay, now it's getting complicated.
Yeah.
Because these are going to heaven.
Yeah.
All right, this is okay. I understand that it's
the
okay.
Anointed ones, the 144,000 anointed ones, will go into heaven, and the rest who are saved will stay on earth here. The sheep of another fold.
All right, it is very complicated. I'm sorry we can bring up so many things under the reincarnation debate here. All I want to say is this about reincarnation. Ask the right questions about it. And that your first question will be this. If I'm alive right now, and if, as I see what happens to other people, that others die, if that's inevitable, my question would then be, do I ever get to live again after that death is going to come? That would be, now I'm not asking you absolute things about what I believe, because I'm far beyond that. But if I am saying within the context of reincarnation, like I need to understand the concept of reincarnation to focus on that. Okay? And I'm saying that I had to have this in my journey of truth, my spiritual journey to seek truth. I had to go through this. So in other words, for you to do that, ask the right questions. Start with that first question and see what you're going to come up with. What are the range of possible answers, and which answer tells you the most? So the question again is, if you're alive right now, right, and then the people tell you you're going to die, and that we have examples of it because you've known of people that have died.
Yeah.
You were with them when they're alive, then all of a sudden one day you wake up and they're dead, and you know, you find out that day, and you go through this whole process of grieving and just facing the reality. They're dead now, right? They've been buried and all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's you're right about the definition. You have to have the right questions and answers, and the only way you can do that is, you know, we have different interpretations, different, you know, reincarnation. You take different forms, you get new bodies. The soul is on a journey, like you were saying, whereas the Jehovah's Witnesses believe there is no journey. You just take one form, one body, and that's it.
Yeah, so how they come up with that answer is like doing reverse engineering for me, because I don't know what their questions were in the first place, so I don't know how they came up with that. They have elders and they have people that have guided the religion or controlled their religion up to this point. And being that if I can't have an interview or a debate with them right now, because you're not them, but you know you can't speak for them, but you can say a few things that you've been handed down to you, right? That's what you're speaking on, a basis of being given these things, but you don't know where they come from. You don't know how it was interpreted.
Yeah.
You weren't there during the deciding process. So that, therefore, we'd have to kind of reverse engineer. And what I did by that process, I just realized myself that they didn't have the right questions in the first place. Because if you have the right question, you're not going to come up with that kind of an answer. And
Well,
our next topic, okay, go ahead.
well, you can be disfellowship too. Once you become a brother, if you don't believe in it, if you don't follow the rules, they shun you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a
And
form of.
that's how they get you out. After you can even figure out a way to get in there, but then if they don't like your train of thought, they get you out.
Yeah, they get you out. You're allowed to come to the meetings, and they still let you come to the meetings, but you can't talk to nobody.
Mhm.
You have to come to the meeting, and then you have to leave right away.
Well, look, this is more just about the group think of religions and mind control. There's nothing wrong with mind control. It just all depends on who's doing the controlling, if you trust them or not. We just use this group as an example, and if you've listened this far into the video, I just want to tell you I have nothing in particular against them, or I don't have anything particular against Scientology or Catholicism or Nation of Islam or ISIS for that matter. Any group, I'm not picking on them because in particular I need to focus on them, because I think that would be belittling the matter. I really don't need to focus on any group as forming my identity. The only thing that I do is um, champion the truth, keep a focus on that, encourage that, stimulate that, inspire that in others. And that is not owned by a religion, it's not owned by any group, and that's what I'm representing. Who am I? Well, we're just Keyboa. Would you say that that's honest kind of frame of mind, of theme? We
Yes.
are Keyboa. This discussion has been brought to you by Keyboa, and it gives you a sense of what that's all about. So I haven't told you whether or not I believe in reincarnation, but I've given you the idea that you need to have the right question to start on that process. And trust me, it is a process, and it's a very worthwhile process, because I think that is the purpose of life.